One of the many industries impacted by the pandemic is the fashion industry. Savannah Fish joining us live with the impact it's having right here in West Michigan.
That's right. Like the rest of us, not even the fashion industry was immune to COVID-19 and the effects of the pandemic. While there was a major spike in online sales and a demand for comfortable clothes at home, it wasn't quite enough to make up for the overall drop in sales and hit on the global economy. I spoke to fashion experts right here in West Michigan who explained those downfalls and how things are beginning to move forward. The fashion industry was created to keep up with change, but not even the most creative industry in the world was prepared for the largest global health crisis in generations.
Already in March and April, talking about how this was going to hit the fashion industry so hard.
The industry faced challenges like the rest of the world, as people lost interest for buying clothes because, let's face it, we were only dressing from the waist up.
So the things that we're wearing at home have increased in sales, and the more professional attire has decreased. People switched to e-commerce. They were already moving in that direction, but this was just a bigger push,
causing online sales to skyrocket. Stores and manufacturers closed their doors, workers laid off, and major brands filing for bankruptcy.
This pandemic has really pushed on the fashion industry to move forward and to move faster. So increasing the digital reliance of the industry and everyone in the industry.
Many brands stopped working with overseas manufacturers because it was just too expensive. It also inspired consumers to buy more consciously.
But we've been doing this for 18 years, so it's kind of now everyone's catching up.
Doug Phillips is the chief financial officer of Conscious Clothing, an organic manufacturer based in Rockford. While they've always had a focus on conscious and ethically made clothing, the biggest change they experienced during the pandemic was the uptick in online sales and demand for loungewear.
Our biggest challenge has been just keeping up with all the extra orders from everyone ordering online. It's been busy. The trend is here for loungewear and comfortable clothing. I think everybody likes to feel comfortable.
While not as comfortable, high fashion was also forced to have an online focus, especially during fashion weeks.
It's very challenging.
Grand Rapids-based celebrity designer R.C. Kalin hosted his most recent show for Arab Fashion Week virtually after a tough year brought on by the pandemic. The designer has worked for Carrie Underwood and many other well-known celebrities. He says because of the pandemic, people didn't have a reason to dress up, and that hit his business hard.
The whole entire revenue of the year was gone, and because most of my clients, their events or the dresses that they already have for custom for me, or the wedding dresses, they were like postponed or canceled.
But these West Michigan fashion leaders are saying change for the good is already in motion. Kalin says thanks to the vaccine and declining COVID numbers, events are picking back up and people need gowns. For manufacturers like Conscious Clothing, they are still busy filling those online orders and they expect this wave to stick, leading fashion experts to believe a fashion resurgence is just around the corner.
I think we'll see a huge resurgence in fashion because it's fun, and fashion is a way to express yourself. I think it'll probably be bigger than what we saw in the Roaring 20s. I think people will just go wild with fashion, and I hope they do.
Well, according to a report by Forbes, revenue generated by the fashion industry dropped by more than 1/3 in 2020. That's about $640 billion in lost sales. Another report showed online retail in 2020 increased nearly 50% compared to 2019. And those numbers are pretty shocking. But the experts that we just heard from say that they don't think that in-person stores will go away anytime soon. Brands will just have a much larger focus on online shopping. Live in the studio for Fox 17 News, I'm Savannah Fish. Mike, Deanna.
Thank you, Savannah.
Good stuff.